Today on September 21, God says, the pain you felt yesterday was not natural. Archangel Michael intercepted it once, but if you ignore this, it will return stronger tonight. Listen now to escape this. Today, September 21st, listen. Heaven has scheduled this moment. It is not coincidence that your eyes have found this word on this day. It is not by chance that your spirit stirred even before you clicked play. For the heavens opened early this morning, and the voice of God rang like thunder through the silence. Tell them today before the night returns. You were meant to hear this now, not tomorrow, not later. Now. Because what brushed your soul yesterday, what gripped your chest without warning, what drained you without cause was not natural. You thought it was just stress, just exhaustion, just emotion. But heaven says it was a strike disguised as a shadow, a blow from the unseen realm aimed to weaken your resolve. A heaviness that wanted to find a permanent place in your home. But God, in His mercy, did not let it land. He dispatched His warrior, His guardian, His breaker of barriers. Michael stood in the breach. And because he did, you still stand. You still breathe. You still have time. But hear this. This message is not for everyone. It is for the one who felt it. The one who didn't sleep well last night. The one who clutched their chest, their mind, their heart, and whispered, "What is happening to me?" You didn't imagine it. You didn't overreact. You were being scanned. Targeted. This is your early warning. God has carved a window into your day, a divine interruption so that your night will not be stolen again. But this window is short, and it comes with conditions. You must be still. You must listen. And you must be ready to obey what you hear. This moment requires surrender, not fear, but a surrender that activates protection. The pain you felt yesterday was a test, but it was also a thief. If ignored, it will come back bolder, stronger, more familiar tonight. And what it could not take yesterday, it will attempt again under a darker cover. What's at stake is not just comfort, not just relief. What's at stake is clarity, alignment, peace. A door that's supposed to open for you soon will only open if you remain upright. This is about posture, not panic. Obedience, not overreaction. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to hear and not ignore this time. The air around you is changing. Can you feel it? The spirit is hovering. And the sound you feel in your soul, that subtle tension, is not anxiety, it is a summon. So before you scroll away or silence this voice, hear the last word of this opening call. If you want to escape tonight, listen now. Type "I receive" if this warning has touched you. Blessing code 777 is activating divine interruption and angelic defense now. Sparkles by the authority of heaven, I call Archangel Michael to the front. Tonight is not casual. The night is warfare. And by the decree of the Most High, the gates of the unseen are open again. This is not poetry. This is protocol. This is not drama. This is divine defense in real time. Because the clock has already begun to strike toward midnight, and what was intercepted yesterday is circling again. Not everyone can sense it, but you can. You, whose body jolted for no reason. You, who felt a tightening in your chest that no doctor could diagnose. You, who woke up already weary, already tense, already battling thoughts that don't sound like your own. This is for you. Within this sacred hour, something is shifting in your atmosphere. Something is moving between dimensions. By midnight, a choice must be made to obey or to overlook, to prepare or to dismiss, to align or to allow. There is no neutral ground now, and heaven has sent this voice, this moment, this word, as a fire alarm in your spirit. You may not realize it yet, but yesterday's pain was a probe. It wasn't the full weapon. It was the testing of your walls. It came to check if your gates were unguarded, if your spirit was asleep, if your alignment had slipped. And when it reached your borders, when it tried to break through, Michael stood in the breach. He stood between you and the darkness. Sword drawn, shield raised, the flame of the Lord reflecting off his armor like sunlight over water. His feet dug into the spiritual terrain surrounding your name. He blocked the impact once, but heaven says he can't stand forever without your agreement. You must agree with protection. You must agree with the instruction. You must agree with the command to stand down and listen. Because what tried to strike you was not just stress, not just spiritual fatigue. It was a missile launched in the night, carrying confusion, delay, false guilt, and unholy distraction. If Michael intercepted it once, he can do it again, but only if your obedience holds the line. There are rules of engagement in the spirit, not man-made, but heaven-governed. Silence opens your ears to instruction. Confession dismantles the foothold of the enemy. Naming your pain disarms the shame that hides it. Simple obedience creates a landing pad for angelic reinforcement. So if you've been tempted to retaliate with words, don't. If you've been drawn to gossip, pull back. If someone's silence provokes suspicion, resist reaction. Hold your tongue. Pray instead. Declare this right now, not tonight, not again, not my soul. Because when you do these things, when you align instead of attack, Michael doesn't just block. He escorts the blessing back. He walks it past the forces that tried to delay it. He carries it back through the spiritual terrain with divine authority. He clears the space so what was meant for you can finally find you. You must understand, not every moment is equal. Not every night is ordinary. This is a war night, and your spiritual stillness is the weapon. If you will be still, if you will be silent, if you will listen, heaven will reveal the next move. Heaven will speak the next command. Heaven will shift what was trying to settle. Michael is already in place. The heavens are already watching. Your obedience is the only missing piece. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Sparkles, there are watchers in the room, not all of them friendly. Let that settle in your spirit. Because what you've been sensing is not paranoia. It's not imagination. It's discernment. That unease you felt walking past someone yesterday, the strange tension during a text conversation, the way your heart dropped in a room where no one said a word. These were not coincidences. They were signals, divine alerts, echoes from the unseen realm that something, or someone, around you has been shifting, watching, probing. The pain you felt yesterday wasn't just spiritual. It was strategic. Heaven reveals this. You were being observed. Spiritually scope. Someone or something tried to gauge your readiness, your softness, your silence. They noticed your lack of defense, your distraction, and they took note. There's a breach in your perimeter, and it doesn't look like an enemy. It looks like a friend. It sounds like a casual joke. It appears as a half-hearted compliment. But beneath it lies a small betrayal, whispered words in your absence, information handed over carelessly, intentions twisted when you weren't looking. Some of them know something, but not everything. And that's what makes them dangerous. Because partial truth in the hands of the wrong person becomes a full-blown weapon in the mouth of the accuser. And right now, someone's perception of you is being used like a whisper to stir delay, to stir chaos, to disturb the night. You've been waking up mid-sleep. Your spirit feels half-tethered. Your heart is on edge. You're walking through your day irritated, but with no obvious reason. Why? Because your soul tasted the betrayal before your mind could name it. God says, don't ignore it. Because if you shrug it off now, what started as a whisper will become a wound. The test is not about them. It's about you. It's about your readiness to move without reacting. Your power to discern without gossip. Your maturity to hold peace while others fall into assumption. So here's heaven's question for you. Who is stealing your rest? Who has opened doors you never unlocked? Sometimes, the one disrupting your spirit never speaks a word aloud. Sometimes, it's the way they pull back. Sometimes, it's the delay in their eye contact. Sometimes, it's their silence when your name comes up in the room. These are signs, not to react, but to observe. Take precautions tonight. Guard your ears from polluted conversation. Reduce your exposure to social media. End your day early. Speak only what is pure, noble, and necessary. Fast from reacting, especially when the bait looks like concern. Prophetically, I must tell you, a shadow circled your house yesterday. They hovered. They examined. They assessed. But it could not enter, because Michael stood. But it still watches. Still waits. Still looks for a crack. Don't give it one. Not through fear. Not through sloppiness. Not through frustration. This is the moment to be wise. Not paranoid. Not anxious. Just spiritually aware. Just steady. Just clean in your conduct. Because what looks like people's fault is often the arena where heaven tests your faith posture. God isn't just watching what happens to you. He's watching how you respond. And if your response remains clean, if you keep your words few, if you keep your heart unoffended, if you keep your mind clear, He will elevate you above the whisper. This is a sacred silence. Keep it. Guard it. Own it. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. You've just heard what most would never be sensitive enough to catch. This is not just revelation, it's rescue. And if this word protected even one soul tonight, imagine how many more could be reached when the message of truth and warning flows freely. When you sow into this message, you're not giving to a channel. You're fueling a fire. You're opening the floodgates for others to escape spiritual traps they don't even see yet. This is what it means to be part of the remnant, the ones who help others cross over. I feel led to say, give, and it shall be given to you is not just a verse. It's a present tense promise from the mouth of God to you. If you feel stirred, don't wait. Obedience unlocks overflow. This is your invitation to stand in the gap with us. You can give through the YouTube Super Thanks membership or through the PayPal link in the video description below. This isn't charity. This is spiritual investment. You're helping send words of light into places where the enemy thrives on silence. So I speak over every giver now. May what you give return sevenfold. May doors open. May rest return. May the oil on this message be multiplied back to you. Give now. Do it boldly. Do it prophetically. Do it like you're obeying a heavenly strategy. This is not petty drama. This is not ordinary discomfort. This is not just a bad week. Hear me. You are standing in a battlefield, though it wears the face of familiar surroundings. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. What you felt yesterday, that invisible weight, that spiritual disruption, that war in the unseen, it was not random. It was calculated. And it was allowed, not to destroy you, but to expose something in you, to surface what's been silent for too long, to awaken what's been sleeping, to reveal the leak in your vessel before the oil of the next season is poured. God does not waste pain, and He does not allow chaos to touch His anointed without purpose. So if you've been asking, why now? Why this? Why me? Heaven responds, because the assignment ahead of you requires more spiritual precision than you've walked in before. This is not just about surviving the attack. It's about seeing why it came. It's about recognizing the pattern, the portal, the path the enemy used, and shutting it. Because some of you, hear this clearly, have been here before. Not in this exact moment, but this exact tension. Same kind of pressure. Same relational confusion. Same unexplained exhaustion. And it always seems to happen when breakthrough is near. That's not coincidence. That's warfare. That's prophetic proof that your name is known in hell as well as in heaven. And the darkness that pressed against you yesterday was not just trying to hurt you, it was trying to distract you from what God is preparing to release. But now you must choose how you will respond. Will you react in fear, in frustration, in self-pity? Or will you shift? Will you align? Will you respond with stillness, not silence from defeat, but silence from spiritual strength? The action shapes outcome. And heaven is watching to see your posture. Because what feels like a setback is actually a stage. What looks like resistance is often refinement. Heaven uses trials to sift your character, to test your confession, to see if your faith is formed in comfort or forged in fire. You are not random. You are marked. That's why the attack felt personal, because your destiny is personal. And the more precise the calling, the more precise the warfare. The higher the oil, the narrower the path. And yes, the deeper the pain, the greater the purpose. So, what do you do in this moment? You breathe. You center your spirit. You lift your hands not in defeat, but in spiritual authority. You pray not because you're desperate, but because you're aligned. You declare what is already written. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. and you anchor yourself in the truth that heaven is not watching from a distance. Heaven is fighting on your behalf. Michael, the Archangel, is not just your protector. He is your forerunner. He goes ahead. He clears the way. He guards the gates. He pushes back what you can't see and announces what's coming. He is heaven's sword in your night. He is the warrior assigned to those who obey even when it costs comfort. And know this, your tears were recorded. Every sigh, every moment you wanted to collapse. Heaven cataloged it all. None of it was wasted, and all of it will be recompensed. Not just with comfort, but with restoration, with purpose, with reward. Not because you earned it, but because you endured with integrity. Tonight, if you feel led, perform this simple act. Light a candle. Kneel beside your bed. Speak these 3 lines. Lord, I give you this battle. I choose stillness over reaction. Let what is yours in me rise above the noise. This is not about appearing strong. This is about becoming anchored. Because the loudest voice in the room isn't always the most powerful. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon you carry is holy restraint. Remember, your silence tonight isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's surrender on purpose. And in that surrender, heaven moves. Type I am under divine strategy in the comments. Blessing Code 2024 has been released to surround your obedience. Within 24 hours, before this night closes, pressure will mount. The spiritual realm has already issued its movements. The enemy is not waiting. He is not slowing. He is circling again. And he is coming with more cunning, more subtlety, more disguise. You must be awake. You must be alert. Because what was intercepted yesterday will be reintroduced tonight, wearing a different face, speaking a softer tone, carrying what appears to be help, but is not. This is the timeline God has set before you, and He does not exaggerate. When heaven speaks in timing, it is because a gate is opening or a gate is closing. And you, chosen one, stand on the threshold. The next few hours are not ordinary. They are critical. And you must decide, not out of fear, but out of alignment, how you will respond when pressure comes. The signs will not be dramatic at first. They will be subtle disruptions. A short argument that escalates too quickly. A headache out of nowhere. A delay that feels unusually inconvenient. A call or message that stirs emotional confusion. A moment where technology fails right when you needed it most. These are not coincidences. These are tactics. Assignments meant to draw your spirit into disorder so that your posture falls out of alignment, and heaven's covering cannot fully land. And it will likely come through one of 3 sources: a person, a pattern, or a spirit. One you already know, one you've battled before, or one you haven't yet identified. And here is the warning: it will come disguised as help. It will look like an opportunity to make peace, to respond to a message, to accept a late invitation, to entertain a conversation you've already surrendered. But do not be deceived. Heaven is watching not what you say yes to, but what you have the discipline to say no to. The night is not the night for spontaneous decisions. It is not the night to respond to emotional manipulation. It is not the night to open your door, your inbox, or your spirit to what was already dismissed in prayer. This is a war night, and the greatest tactic of the enemy tonight is distraction dressed as urgency. If something or someone presses you to make a quick decision, delay it. If a text or DM provokes an emotional reaction, pause. If someone reappears suddenly from your past with kind words and vague intentions, know this. That is the counterfeit. That is the shadow circling back. That is the echo of what was already broken off, trying to reattach itself to your future. You must become intentional in your actions over the next 24 hours. Rest early. Don't explain yourself to people who haven't earned access. Watch your words. Guard your spirit. And assign 1 or 2 people, not many, who can cover you if the tension builds. You don't need an audience. You need intercessors. Here is your spoken declaration. Say it out loud, now and again before bed. I cancel that plan. I will not inherit this pain. I reject the counterfeit. I align with the divine. Not tonight. Not in my house. Not in my spirit. Let those words become a fortress around you. Let them form a wall in the unseen. Because heaven is saying clearly, this is a test of obedience. Ignore it and the pain returns stronger. Obey, and you keep your peace. This isn't just about escaping discomfort. It's about preserving the pathway of blessing that was meant to arrive by week's end. If your posture holds, if your response remains holy, if your vision stays clear, you will not only avoid the attack, you will recover something that was stolen weeks ago. This hour is about obedience, not performance, not panic, just alignment. So stand still, stand aware, stand covered, and let the night pass without giving the enemy a foothold. Type I will obey in the comments. Blessing code 3030 is now shielding your timeline. Be still, heaven fights when you don't. Let that truth echo deep within your spirit. This is not a night for debate. Not a night for retaliation. Not a night for exposure. This is a night for spiritual strategy, because what's circling you now is waiting for noise, waiting for overreaction, waiting for your flesh to step in where your spirit was meant to reign. The Lord says, stand down, so I can stand up. You don't need to defend yourself tonight. You don't need to be understood. You don't need to call or correct or clarify. Heaven is not looking for your perfection. It is looking for your posture. Because posture determines permission. And when your posture is surrendered, heaven is permitted to move without hindrance. But if you step out of order, if you take matters into your own hands, you forfeit the covering that's already been assigned to your name. So, here is what the Spirit of the Lord instructs for tonight. Withdraw from conversations that breed confusion, gossip, or premature conclusions. If the tone shifts, disengage. If the atmosphere turns toxic, step back. Not from fear, but from authority. Your retreat is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is warfare. It is you refusing to let the enemy bait you into fruitless arguments or carnal decisions. Every hour, whisper this breath prayer, even under your breath. Lord, cover me. Let it be the rhythm of your night. Let it wash over you like a shield every time distraction presses near. It is not dramatic. It is divine. It is not passive. It is prophetic. This small act of repeated surrender gives God legal ground to hold what you cannot. There are 3 declarations the Holy Spirit is instructing you to say tonight, and they are not suggestions. They are shields. Declare them aloud, now and again before rest. Though, not tonight, not my portion. These words are not empty phrases. They are barriers in the Spirit. They are locks against entry. They form a hedge around your emotions, your mind, your body, your dwelling. Say them as many times as necessary. They are the gatekeeper phrases for this night. If it is within your spiritual practice, anoint yourself, your forehead, your hands, the entryway of your home. Speak the name of Jesus over every threshold, not because you fear intrusion, but because you enforce dominion. You are not hoping for peace, you are establishing it. Now calm your body. Slow your breath. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. And again. Let your nervous system bow to the Spirit of God within you. Let your flesh submit to your faith. Let your heart come under the rhythm of heaven. Even if your day has been full of noise, this moment belongs to silence. Tonight, if you feel the tension rising, do not post about it. Do not message out of impulse. Do not call out of frustration. Social media is not your altar. You need only one trusted person, if any, to agree with you in silence. The fewer who know, the stronger the shield. You are not hiding. You are honoring the sacredness of what is being dealt with in the Spirit. Before you sleep, speak this aloud. The war is not mine. It belongs to the Lord. I go to rest under the wings of the Almighty. This is not passive religion. This is strategic surrender. And hear this. If you follow this guidance, if you hold your tongue, guard your peace, anoint your space, and honor the rhythm of rest, the night will pass with minimal harm. What tried to break in will find nothing open. What tried to stir you will fall silent. What planned to re-enter will find no welcome. You are building a shield with your stillness. This is your moment to partner with heaven, not in noise, but in quiet, prophetic obedience. Type I am covered in the comments. Blessing code 1919 is activated to encircle your rest tonight. Now that you've taken the counsel, watch what rising faith does. Because the enemy didn't expect you to obey. He expected you to react. He expected you to explode. He expected you to spiral in fear, drown in distraction, and fall back into patterns that silence your authority. What you didn't. You broke the pattern. You chose silence when the enemy begged for sound. You chose prayer when the temptation was to retaliate. You chose heaven over habit, and that is how deliverance begins. Listen to me carefully. You are not a victim. You are an inheritor. You are not being hunted because you are weak. You are being hunted because you are marked. There is a calling on your life that has provoked the adversary. There is favor on your name that has drawn attention in the Spirit. You've been feeling the weight, not because you're broken, but because your breakthrough is near. You have survived things that should have shattered you. And now, finally, you are not just surviving, you are starting to rise. Quietly, steadily, stronger than before, wiser than before, clearer than before. This is what power feels like when it is born in pain. It doesn't need to announce itself. It walks in authority without saying a word. It doesn't need to prove itself. because heaven has already proven it through the fire. So now, take this next step. Begin your rise. Right now. Not by running, but by declaring. Speak these 3 things aloud, as the sound of your deliverance echoing through your atmosphere. I am not what I survived. I renounce the fear I used to serve. I receive the strength I was born to carry. Let those words wrap around your mind and enter your bloodstream. Let them sit on your tongue until you taste freedom. Because this is no longer about escaping attack. It's about becoming the one the enemy flees from. Within the next 48 hours, expect small but sacred victories. A night of full rest. A conversation that brings clarity. A moment of unexpected peace. These are not accidents, these are confirmations. Mark them. Write them. Testify to them. For what once shook you, now bows to you. Every battle that once intimidated you, God is using to build a throne beneath your feet. Every situation that once drained you, heaven is flipping to fuel your strength. Every delay that once grieved you, the Lord is now repurposing into divine acceleration. Here's what you must do now. Grab a journal, a napkin, the back of your hand, anything, and write one word that symbolizes victory to you. Just one. Then write a sentence that begins with, "This is what I survived, and this is who I've become." Let your own hand prophesy. Let your own pen testify. And when you've done that, close your eyes. Open your mouth and say these words aloud. I arise now. Not with noise, but with knowing. Not with fear, but with fire. The shift is happening even now. The authority is returning to your voice. The clarity is coming back to your vision. The oil is thickening on your name. Not because you fought harder, but because you surrendered wiser. Heaven is not looking for the loudest warrior, but for the one who can obey in stillness and walk in confidence without needing validation. Now pause. Just for 10 seconds. Why here? Say the following words aloud, boldly. I will not shrink. I was born for this. I will rise. Let that echo into the halls of heaven and into the ears of every watching spirit. Let it be known, you are not the same as you were yesterday. What tried to touch you has lost its grip. What tried to confuse you has been silenced. What tried to delay you is now beneath your feet. You're not just passing through the night, you're being promoted through it. Type I have risen in the comments. Blessing code 888 is now unlocking supernatural favor. This didn't come to destroy you. This didn't come to crush you. It came to clear space. The trial that rose like a wave was not sent to drown you. It was sent to reveal the hidden weight you were still carrying, weight that could not pass into the next season. This is the revelation. Heaven allowed the pain because heaven is preparing the platform. And what God is about to release in your life cannot be mixed with the old residue, old alliances, or old wounds. Hear this in your spirit. This was not an attack without reason. It was a revelation in disguise. Every discomfort, every strange delay, every spiritual tension you felt yesterday was a divine announcement that the atmosphere around your destiny is being reordered. The heavens are shifting things into position. Doors are being inspected. Relationships are being sifted. Motives are being exposed. You weren't just attacked, you were shown something. Why? because you're too close to destiny to be deceived now. You're too near to the unlocking to allow a familiar pattern to reset your steps. This trial came to test what you've truly learned. Not what you've posted, not what you've told others, but what your soul actually believes when the night gets silent and the pressure becomes personal. Heaven declares, "This is your unlocking." That phrase may sound poetic, but it is prophetic. Something long delayed is beginning to loosen its grip. Something you've prayed for, but were not fully ready to receive, is now approaching your life again. The trial was not punishment. It was preparation. And your obedience, your silence, your spiritual strategy, it has triggered movement. Expect to see the signs. Watch for the confirmation. It may be as simple as someone reaching out with an apology. It may be a door that suddenly opens where before it was closed. It may be peace in a place where tension used to live. These are not random. They are evidence that what was sent to delay you has failed, and heaven has overruled the assignment. But hear this: obedience is still the condition. Just because the breakthrough is near does not mean it is guaranteed to land. It is still your posture that determines whether the blessing is delivered or postponed. Stay in alignment. Stay in surrender. Stay in silence when necessary. You don't need to chase the promise. The promise is on its way if the path stays clear. And let go of shame. Let go of the lie that says your pain was pointless. Let go of the belief that the delay means God forgot. He did not forget. He was forming. He was forging. He was filtering. And now, He is favoring. You are not a question mark in heaven. You are a sealed scroll, and your name has been spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. This is happening because you are chosen. This is happening because you are next. This is happening because heaven has weighed your spirit and found you ready. And now the clearing has begun. The space is opening. The air is changing. The alignment is falling into place. So receive this moment. Receive the reason. Let the understanding wash away the confusion. Let the wisdom silence the fear. Let the light of clarity pierce through the fog that the enemy tried to trap you in. You are not wandering anymore. You are walking into what was written for you long before the attack came. And say this aloud with authority: this is why it happened. This is how I'm rising. This is what I was made for. Type "I receive the reason" in the comments. Blessing code 4545 is activating divine clarity and reward. If this word has struck your spirit, don't let it pass without planting a seed into the very soil it grew from. This is more than a message. This is a midnight rescue for someone else still under pressure. When you support what God is speaking, you help deliver light to those still battling in the dark. It's not about a platform. It's about protecting more souls. The word says in Isaiah 58:10, "If you spend yourselves on behalf of the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness." That's not a metaphor. It's a divine transaction. Your giving turns into someone's breakthrough. Your generosity becomes spiritual oil that multiplies. If God has stirred you through this, I invite you now, become a part of this prophetic movement. Support through the YouTube Super Thanks or membership, or sow directly through PayPal using the link in the video description below. This isn't a donation. It's an act of obedience and honor. To every giver, I declare, may your name rise in heavenly remembrance. May the same angel that guarded this word guard your home, your body, and your future. Woo now. Obey boldly. Let your giving speak louder than any attack ever could. Heaven waits for your yes. Not a vague yes. Not a someday yes. A right now, spirit deep, soul settled yes that sends a ripple through the spiritual realm. This is not just a night to receive revelation. This is a night to step into activation. The warning was real. The interception was divine. But what happens next depends on your decision to respond with movement. Because the protection was sent to preserve not just your peace, but your purpose. This entire night has been about realignment, about recentering you with the divine timeline heaven placed over your life before your birth. The pain wasn't random, it was prophetic. And the delay wasn't denial, it was divine recalibration. But now the heavens are declaring, activate what you were preserved for. Don't waste the rescue. Don't survive the attack only to sit in silence. It's time to rise into action. There are 5 assignments you must carry out in the next 24 hours. These are not just good ideas. They are spiritual activators. The first is this: speak a declaration out loud. Right now. With authority. With posture. With full surrender. Say, I step into what God has written. No delay, no fear, no counterfeit will stop me. My destiny is unlocked now. This is not performance. It is alignment. And heaven hears declarations like keys turning in locked doors. Second, fast from complaining. For the next 24 hours, shut the gates of your mouth to negativity, sarcasm, frustration, and low speech. Why? Because complaint is the language of spiritual leakage. And you cannot afford to drain what heaven just poured. For one day, speak only what builds, what blesses, what aligns. Heaven says, I will fill what you don't leak. Third, reach for reconciliation where the Spirit leads. If there is someone whose name keeps resurfacing in your mind, someone God may be prompting you to release or gently restore, obey the nudge. Even if it's a simple message. Even if the relationship won't be rebuilt fully, the gesture may unlock a flow of peace you didn't know was being blocked. Destiny requires clean hands. Even one text can break years of invisible chains. Fourth, set a midnight prayer alarm. Lot of you ever heard. Just 1 minute. One whispered word. One moment to stand between yesterday and tomorrow and say, God, I'm awake to your movement. Let this night shift my future. That act of obedience, even if it costs a little sleep, becomes a signal in the spirit that says, this one is ready. Fifth, write one line of purpose and speak it before sleep. Write it with authority. Something simple. Something present tense. Something like, I am called to shift generations where my hands carry healing, where my voice unlocks freedom. Don't wait for a prophet to confirm it. Let your spirit prophecy over itself. Heaven partners with written conviction. These steps are not rituals. They are responses. They are how you say to heaven, I heard you, and I'm moving with you. Because the truth is, your calling is not on pause, it's on the edge of promotion. Your assignment hath been pulling at your spirit all year. And this warfare, it was not a blockage, it was a birthing. Say it with me now, loud. I say yes. I align. I activate. Heaven beat me in my obedience. That yes, that alignment, that action, it causes angels to move. It opens the girdle. It shifts timelines. It causes old resistance to evaporate. Because destiny doesn't bow to hesitation, it responds to discipline. Your soul has been awakened. Your posture has shifted. And now, it's time to walk like one who knows the weight of what they carry. You were not preserved to sit still. You were intercepted for impact. You were protected because your purpose was needed. Heaven is waiting on your next move. Type I activate destiny in the comments. Blessing code 5555 is now commanding divine acceleration. While you sleep tonight, trades are being made on your behalf. Invisible negotiations. Divine exchanges. Heavenly contracts are being reviewed, not based on your perfection, but based on your obedience. This is the hidden side of your warfare, not the battle you fought in your body, but the transaction now taking place in the spirit. And it is happening silently, in a realm beyond your eyes, but not beyond your reach. You've already shifted the atmosphere with your surrender. What was coming to steal have been stopped. But now, what was stolen from you without permission is being brought to the table of heaven. And the Lord is issuing a decree. Return what belongs to my servant. There is a quiet storm moving in the unseen. Documents are being unsealed. Ledgers are being read aloud. Your pain has activated an audit in the spirit. Listen closely. When you cried, heaven recorded. When you sighed in your bed last night, unable to find language for the weight, heaven signed a new contract on your behalf. You may have felt invisible, but your tears wrote volumes. Not one drop fell without notice. And now, that invisible sorrow has turned into visible recompense. The realm of angels is moving under divine assignment. Some to retrieve, some to restore, others to war for the final stages of your release. And while the exchange takes place, your only assignment is to stay still, to remain surrendered, to say only what the Spirit allows. No frantic prayers, no begging, no bartering. Just trust, just stillness, just one posture, open hands, open heart, guarded mouth. Tonight, while your body rests, your spirit is being upgraded. The version of you that wakes tomorrow will carry a new layer of authority, a deeper sensitivity, and a higher capacity to steward the blessings about to arrive. The exchange is not just about returning what was lost, it's about multiplying it. The Lord never gives back in equal measure. What was taken will be returned, but what is returned will come pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And don't be surprised if your dreams feel more vivid tonight. That is the scroll of your destiny being unfolded before your eyes. You may not remember all of it in the morning, but your spirit will. Something deep within you is being marked, and what was once confusing will soon become clear direction. Before you lay your head down tonight, speak this simple prayer aloud. Not with emotion, but with authority. Speak it as a legal decree, as one who knows that heaven is listening. I do not chase what was taken. I receive what heaven is returning. I am still. I am covered. I trust the exchange. Say it once. Let it settle. And then rest. Let your sleep become a sanctuary. Let your room become a courtroom filled with angels. Let your rest become a weapon. Because tonight is not just about silence, it is about settlement. Heaven is settling things that tried to remain open. Contracts are being closed. False accusations are being overturned. Debts, emotional, spiritual, and relational, are being canceled. And in the halls of heaven, your name is being stamped. Not with denial, not with delay, but with favor, with restoration, with full reversal. Because you obeyed, because you endured, because you didn't fight dirty when you could have. You gave God space to work. And now, while you sleep, the realm of the Spirit works for you. Type "I receive" the exchange in the comments. Blessing code 717 is sealing the midnight contract on your behalf. What they meant for evil will not only fail, it will feed your favor. This is the justice of the Lord. This is the divine reversal being written into your life even now. The very weapon that was designed to wound you is being reshaped into a testimony of triumph. What was whispered behind your back, what was stolen in silence, what was twisted to delay your growth, it is being reversed in full by the righteous Judge of heaven. Understand this clearly. Divine justice is not like human vengeance. God does not simply repay evil. He multiplies what was meant for harm and transforms it into a source of elevation. That's why the pain felt so strategic, because the restoration must be multiplied. That's why the betrayal felt so personal, because the blessing will be custom-made. What you lost in peace, God will return in power. What you lost in time, He will return in acceleration. What was withheld from you unfairly will now chase you without delay. This is not just restoration. It is reckoning. The scale has tipped. The books in heaven have been opened. The records of every injustice, every loss, every missed moment have been tallied. And the Holy Spirit says, enough. Heaven has ruled in your favor. The gavel has dropped. The reversal has begun. You must believe it before you see it. Because reversal often begins quietly. Slowly. At first, you'll sense a shift, a sudden moment of clarity where confusion used to reign. You'll hear your name mentioned with honor where it was once dismissed. Doors that previously shut you out will reopen, not because of striving, but because heaven has overruled the resistance. But with that reversal comes a responsibility. Do not harden your heart. Do not allow bitterness to contaminate your blessing. Yes, they tried to harm you. Yes, the attack was real. But you are not rising with revenge in your mouth. You are rising with righteousness on your lips. Humility must be your garment. Gratitude must be your posture. God is not just returning what was lost. He is rewriting the ending. There are people who once dismissed you who will now need to witness your rise. Not for shame, but for divine witness. Not for ego, but for evidence. God is showing them who He is, to what He does for you. He is moving in unseen places right now, softening hearts, exposing lies, realigning structures, and turning the tide. What looked irreversible is being rewritten. What seemed final is being reopened. What you thought was too late is being brought back on time. Because when heaven decides it's your season, no man, no spirit, no strategy can stop the release. So stand firm. Stand clean. Stand still. and declare this aloud. I will not repay evil with evil. I will not hold what heaven has released. I receive the full reversal. I step into justice, not revenge. My hands are open. My heart is clean. My blessing is on the way. Speak it again if you have to. Let your atmosphere hear it. Let your past hear it. Let every monitoring spirit hear it. You are not returning to what you left. You are not circling back. You are rising above. Divine bookkeeping is real. Heaven does not forget. Your restoration is not just emotional. It's structural. It's financial. It's relational. It's spiritual. And it is already in motion. Type divine justice is mine in the comments. Blessing code 1212 is releasing multiplied recompense over you now. The message has been delivered. The warning has been sounded. The veil has been pulled back. And now you know, what you felt yesterday was not natural. It was a strike from the unseen, an attack launched to destabilize, delay, and distract. But the hand of God did not allow it to finish its mission. Archangel Michael stood in the breach. He intercepted what was designed to break your soul. And now, beloved, you stand at a sacred threshold. Your obedience has activated protection. Your stillness has summoned strategy. Your posture has preserved what hell was determined to steal. The pain you felt yesterday was real, but it will not return tonight. Because you've aligned. Because you obeyed. Because you have shifted the ground beneath your feet with words, with worship, and with wisdom. This is your final instruction. Do not leave this moment open. Sealy. Close the door with the keys you've been given. Stillness, declaration, prayer, and obedience. The night no longer has legal access to torment your peace. The disruption will not echo again. What was once circling has now been silenced. And so, now, I speak this blessing over you. Say it with me aloud. Let it rise from your lips as a decree. Speak it not with fear, but with finality. This is your benediction, your covering, your divine seal. By the blood and authority of heaven, I decree peace over this night. Archangel Michael, stand guard. Let no weapon form prosper. Lord, restore what was taken, multiply what was lost. My home is covered. My soul is aligned. My destiny is sealed. You don't need to fight anymore tonight. You don't need to overthink. You don't need to prepare for another wave, because this one has been broken. You obeyed the warning. You passed the test. You activated heaven. And now it is finished. Turn your phone off at 10 p.m. Light a candle if you must. Whisper the declarations one more time. And then, sleep. Not out of exhaustion, but out of victory. Not out of fear, but out of fullness. Your night has been redeemed. Your timeline has been cleansed. Your spirit has been reset. And your name has been spoken before the throne of God. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Now rise. Type I am sealed in heaven in the comments. Blessing code 9999 is your final covering and confirmation tonight. If this message anchored you, don't let it stop with you. Every time you give, you help this word reach someone else still battling their night. This isn't about content, it's about souls. It's about becoming a vessel through which others escape what nearly crushed them. You can join this prophetic movement by sowing through YouTube Super Thanks, membership, or giving through PayPal. The link is in the video description. When you give, you're not just offering support, you're releasing breakthrough into someone else's timeline. You are sowing into clarity, into warning, into rescue. I declare over every giver, may your obedience open portals of divine reversal. May what you released be returned 100-fold. May Archangel Michael himself war over your seed. Don't wait. Obey now. Give boldly. Let your giving finish what this word started.